We are live.
Yes. Welcome into the Pick Six podcast here on the Tim McKernan Show on the Inside STL Podcast Network. It is presented by Tullamore Dew, Tim McKernan, Action Jackson, producer Joe, Mysterious G Unit, Kenneth Iggy Strode, and the man leading the competition through 1 month of festivities, Gangster Repeat. Gangster Repeat, congratulations on potentially defending the crown. We've never had anybody defend the crown.
Well, I fully intend on doing it, but my mission is far from over.
We are early in the proceedings. Producer Joe will update us on the standings momentarily. Then we will pick, as we always do, our 5 games, college, NFL, or soccer parlays. Iggy likes the sweetheart teaser. And then we will all pick our locks. That is coming your way. First off, this podcast, Pick Six, is presented by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Celebrate your favorite team touchdowns this year with Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. May their feet be swift and their aim true. May the refs be forever in your favor. And your whiskey always. Tullamore Dew. Tullamore Dew, the original triple blended, triple distilled, smooth sipping Irish whiskey made exactly for game day moments like this. When it's game time, it's Tully time. Please enjoy Tully responsibly. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, William Grant & Sons, New York, New York. We are in the HomeLoanExpert.com studios. Ryan Kelly, the sponsor of the studios. I got an email today from a listener, and I'm going to pull it up right now because I was just emailing with him. And he kind of said what a lot of us have said working with Ryan Kelly. Hey, Tim, longtime listener, first-time emailer. I recently heard Ryan Kelly promote his union loan on the show. I'm a proud member of IBEW Local 1, so I gave the home loan expert a call to inquire about the loan. I started paperwork on September 12th and just got word today that I'll be closing my new 2.625% 15-year loan on October 6th. That's how quickly they moved there. Everyone at Ryan's office made it easy. I used their app and was notified anytime anything was needed or came up. Just wanted to let you know what a great experience I had. Thank you, sir, and feel free to read my testimonial on air if you want. That was from Edward Harleman. He had a very similar experience to me, to Doug Vaughn. We recommend Ryan Kelly wholeheartedly as well. TheHomeLoanExpert.com to get pre-approved or to refinance. You can get refinanced in the twos. Why not do it? All right, producer Joe. How many weeks are we through? 3 weeks, right?
4.
4 weeks. 4 weeks. Let's just look back on week 3. How did everybody do on week 3 first, and then we'll do overall. What do we got?
Well, week 4, Kenneth went 5-1, lost his lock. Pete and I both went 4-2, both hitting our locks. You and Unit both went 3-3. Tim, you hit your lock. Unit missed his, and Jackson went 2-4, but did hit his lock.
Jackson, after a 5-1 week, it's like after a birdie, you doubled the next hole. Iggy, but I mean, the headline to me is you going 5-1. What worked for you last week?
Well, obviously my Ryder Cup picks hit. 2 of my teasers pick, and the only game I lost was I shocked. It was my best bet of the week. Actually, that's what I put in the lock. Teasing Oklahoma down to 6.5 at home against West Virginia. You hold West Virginia to 13 points and you can't cover. So that was my only loss. I've been 6-0.
I'd like a deep dive into what's going on with Spencer Rattler. I observed it against Tulane in the first game of the season, and he's just something's off. I don't know if he got his money, and he's just like, yeah, I'm good. I don't know what the hell's going on. I can't explain that situation.
Happy feet.
Is that what he's got going on, Gangster Pete?
He's never got a solid base when he throws the ball. Doug would hate it.
He was all the Heisman talk earlier in the year.
So you were kept from 6. We haven't had a 6-0 this week this year, have we?
No.
Got a couple 5-1s, but no 6-0. All right. So with that all said, there's last week's standings. Producer Joe, what's the overall at this point?
Pete is in first at 14-10, 2-2 on his locks, 58.33%.
Nice.
Oh,
You and I are both 12-12. You are 4-0 with your locks. I am 3-1. Jackson is 10-14, 2-2 on his locks. And Kenneth is 9-14, 0-3 on his locks, and Unit is 9-15, 2-2 on his locks.
G Unit, answer for yourself.
Answer for myself.
Well, I mean, what's going awry?
Well, it was the 0-6 start with the non-NFL weekend. That's what really put me in the back initially. Last week, it was that missed extra point that the Chargers had to end the game, and that would have put me at 4-2. I mean, you just got to chip away after you start 0-6. I'll be okay. You don't worry about me.
I guarantee you, G Unit will not quit.
There's no quit in G Unit, that's for sure.
I hope you're right, buddy. I hope you have to pick a lock.
Let me tell you guys a quick story. I was at the
fuck me.
I was at the Cardinals.
This is better than what we usually have.
This has been like Deeb's beating off on I-70?
Well, it's not a fight, so it's better.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It actually is a Deeb's beating off story. No, I was at the Cardinals game with the famous Seth Goldcamp last night.
Designer heating and cooling.
That's right, and he was wearing the black shirt with your three faces on it that you used to give out for email of the day.
Oh, wonderful!
And some guy who was sitting in our section just saw the shirt and says, "So how vile was your email that you sent in, you dirtbag?" So people just assume. I mean, if they know the shirt, they know that you're a dirtbag. That's the problem. It was pretty funny.
That's good to hear. Seth's got to feel like he's investing his money wisely when the advertiser hears that from the listener.
That's exactly right.
Iggy, you are the leader. You have honors. Now I'm reading some of the comments, which are usually supportive, but one person, and I can't see who it was, says Iggy looks stressed about his trash cast. Joe looks stressed because he used false data when stating that St. Louis had 4 straight days of 90+ when he was using data from Columbia, Missouri instead of St. Louis. So much to process, so little time. I don't really know what I'm reading, but I just saw it pop up kind of like the text inbox on the radio show. Joe, are you using fake data?
I think when I sent you a text, it was from Columbia, and I had 3 out of 4 days, I think is what it was. It was a few weeks ago. It's Ryan Welch. That's who it is.
Iggy, you might have a bonding moment here with producer Joe.
Yeah, Ryan Welch is. I don't know why he's the next guy. Is probably want to come over and see my Doppler in my closet.
Oh, you don't get off on this. You were actively pursuing his wife on Snapchat, so I think I'd hush up if I was you.
Oh, fuck my.
Well, first of all, I'd stay away from the personal shit. But I don't know what that has to do with Ryan Welch and weather forecast.
Well, I just stated it. You were actively Snapchatting with his wife. You talked about it on the radio show.
Yeah, I do. So what does that have to do with him?
It's somebody's wife. It's the same shit you do with Learn. It's somebody's wife.
I don't see it. There it is.
Learn and I are friends. Lady Beercats and I are friends. And Ryan knows that. And the chats were harmless. And he knew that we were chatting with me and Jay and her and going back and forth and having fun. So I don't know why you have to fucking get involved with it. It has nothing to do with you, and it's personal shit, which I would kind of keep out of this.
Well, no. You talked about it on the radio show. I mean, you don't get to revise history. You mentioned it on the radio show.
Again, what does that have to do with what I was talking about weather forecast?
I told you should just lay off on him, but I just find it incredibly odd that you find no problems whatsoever actively chatting with people's wives.
I don't.
Like I said last week, there's zero integrity when it comes to you. Zero.
Well, I have no problem fucking guys' wives either. So
like I said, zero integrity.
Yeah, zero integrity.
Zero.
You know what? You can say what you want about me. Let's just stick to the podcast because I really don't give a shit what you say about me and my life and what I do. I really don't care.
It seems as though you're actively trying to defend yourself right now for someone who doesn't care.
I'm defending myself over something that you talked about when we brought up a weather forecast, and you threw in you talked to his wife on Snapchat. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, I'm just playing with the facts here, Iggy.
All right. Well, you pick games, but we'll tie you in your picks to I've never passed out in front of a bank and missed my shift at work because I was drunk. That's never happened to me.
I didn't have work the next day, so if we're going to tell the story, we may as well be factual. We did not have work the next day.
Well, what I heard on the radio was that nobody knew where you were and you weren't at work and they found you passed out in front of a bank. So
different days here, Iggy. Different days. Different days. and I think I was 24 at that time. You're in your 60s and actively playing with social media and trying to.
Now it's about 8.
lives.
Now it's about 8.
It is. You don't find a difference between being 24 and 63?
Not when you do certain things. I don't care if I Snapchat somebody when I'm 24. I Snapchat somebody when I'm 64. What the fuck does it matter? We're friends.
People's wives, and actively tweeting at adult film stars in your 60s is perfectly normal behavior as well.
It is something that I can speak for in your 40s as being perfectly fine. I'm really excited about Ella Reese returning. Anybody know who Ella Reese is on the dais? Anybody?
20 years from now, you better not watch porn or talk to porn stars.
Yeah,
there's an age limit on that.
I don't really at this point. I don't see it changing, unfortunately. But welcome back to Ella Reese, to the adult industry. Iggy, you get to lead things off after having a wonderful week, 5-1, but no Ryder Cup to profit from this week. So going Sweetheart Teasers again.
Yeah, it was either golf or I was going to go with NASCAR Truck Series.
Sanderson Farms.
Farms.
That's a pretty weak field. I wouldn't know who to pick against too. We're just going to go with a bunch of Sweetheart Teasers, 10-point teasers. First one, we're going to go Duke and North Carolina over 62.5.
Tobacco Road.
Appalachian State Pick'em versus Georgia State. That god-awful school.
Where did you go to school, Iggy?
College.
Iggy, where did you go to school? I just want to be clear. Harvard on the highway?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just leave it alone there.
Okay.
How's your degree? Oh, I forgot.
Oh, that hit close to home for a number of people on the show.
Yeah, I don't have that doesn't have a degree, and you got a degree to park cars, so congrats.
Yet there's multiple valets who make more per year than you do.
Some at park cars. I agree with that. Country clubs out in Florida, they're making more money than me.
Okay, so it's weird to me that you condemn everybody else's job. Yet
you've been condemning me since we started the fucking show, so shut up.
I'm not going to defend myself against you. Yet here you are once again defending yourself. The man who speaks in absolutes that can't hold through with any of them.
How am I defending myself? I disagree with you that there's valets that make more than me. How am I defending myself?
Keep on coming, buddy.
He got me there. I better just say keep coming. Let's just go with the picks. You fucking bore me. You really do.
Yet here you are, still chapping. Just chirp. Here we go.
All you do. That's all you do is chap. You chip here, chip here, chip here.
What is
it's fucking annoying, man. Anyway, third game in that parlay: Louisville Wake Forest over 51.5. Second 10.
What was the number? What was the number? 50 what?
51.5. When I put these together about a half hour ago, it was 61.5. So. And I just used DraftKings. I didn't use the other one.
Scores and mores.
S'mores. All right, second.
By the way, I didn't see his ceiling.
Sorry?
I'm looking for Pete. Or is he blocked out by the Tullamore Dew logo? There he is.
Pete's 40 feet away.
Pete just got up and left while this was going on.
He was laying on the couch.
Got it.
Second teaser, Dallas plus 6.5 versus Carolina. UTSA minus 11. I don't know who they're playing. I really don't care.
Okay.
I think they're playing UNLV, aren't they?
I don't believe so. Maybe they are.
Okay.
Good research.
No, I saw what they were, and I know they're trouncing everybody, so I just didn't write down who they're playing. And the final one in that, Penn State minus 0.5 versus Indiana. Third one, BYU plus 1 versus Utah. Cincinnati, this is going to the pros now. Cincinnati plus 2.5 versus Jacksonville. And the Chiefs plus 3.5 versus the Eagles. Fourth one, Green Bay, Pittsburgh over 36. Rams, Cardinals over 45. Mizzou and Tennessee over 54.5. And my final one, the pros, Tennessee plus 3 versus the Jets. This one either scares me or they'll have this at halftime. Ole Miss and Alabama over 70.5. That's knocking it down 10.
Wow, it's at 80.5?
Yeah.
I saw 81 earlier.
Holy shit.
And finally, Coastal Carolina minus 24.5.
I'm texting with our sponsor as this carries on. He's really enjoying it. Are all the bets in, Jackson?
Yeah, we got him.
So is that 20 different games?
15, but I have a lock with 3 more.
Yes. Oh, good. It'll be another teaser. Wonderful stuff. All right. So Iggy is in with 5 teasers. Who's up next? Joe?
No, Pete, because he's got the lead overall in the season.
God bless. Gangster repeat.
I'll try to make this quick so we can get back to Iggy and Joe. Tennessee +3 at Mizzou. Tennessee,
Hold on. I got to call attention to this.
I mean, Mizzou can't stop a nosebleed. Tennessee is going to boat race them. It's pathetic. Nick Bolton's
Pete's
not
gonna
walking through that
people.
door.
Jackson's beside himself.
Didn't
Yeah,
you
I'm
go to
curious.
Mizzou, Pete?
Focused on Conzo. Pete's focused on drink. Are you concerned, or you just accept it for what it is and you still believe you trust the process?
It is what it is. A couple years we'll have a really good team.
Okay.
So just gotta live through it now.
All right.
Second game, I've got Texas -4.5 at TCU. Texas has been a different team since Casey Thompson took over at quarterback. TCU's won like 5 of the last 6 against Texas, but this isn't your typical TCU defense, so I'm taking Texas -4.5. Next, I've got Army -7.5. Ball State's 107th in the country stopping the run. That's bad when you play Army. Saturday night,
Army can pass this year.
I think they've thrown 13 passes all year or something like that.
Oh, let's see. Who's?
I think
Your stat boy, Jackson. Can we get a confirmation on
I
this?
think Army won last week like 0 for 5 passing. Next, we go to LSU versus Auburn. I've got LSU -3.5. I went to the game in Death Valley where LSU beat the shit out of Mizzou. That's not a place you want to go at nighttime to try to get right. So I will take LSU -3.5 against the struggling Auburn team. And then my 5th bet is UCLA -3 versus Arizona State. Arizona State's got some good athletes, but UCLA is better on both sides of the ball. I will take UCLA -3. Back to you, Joe and Iggy.
Army's passing offense of 282 for the season isn't particularly great, but they do average 70.5 per game, which is significantly higher than it has been in recent years, I believe.
Wait, are we talking football?
Yeah.
Wow, cool. It's like the old times.
Oh, Gangster Pete has had enough of this sideshow. G-Unit enjoys that.
Speaking of passing,
right,
has Navy thrown a pass yet this year?
They have.
Have they?
They have.
I was just wondering. That's all.
Okay, fair enough. Joe, you're up next.
All right. First play, Titans first half -4. The Jets have scored all of 3 points in the first half all year. So I will take the Titans -4 in the first half. Next play, Tennessee and Missouri over 64.5. Tennessee is the #1 team in the country in plays per minute. Missouri 27. Both teams will be able to score. I will go over 64.5.
Oh, Mizzou's going to be so tired.
It's supposed to. The only thing because it does seem very obvious, the forecast is really crappy on Saturday. That's the only thing I could think like blowing up that bet. Otherwise, I have no idea how it isn't like around 75 plus. You know, I love the play. It's the only thing I'm thinking because otherwise I'd just be betting it like crazy.
Next play, taking the Hawkeyes -3 at Maryland. Next play, under 43.5, Michigan and Wisconsin. Michigan number 109 in plays per minute, Wisconsin 94. As long as Wisconsin doesn't turn the ball over, I don't see any way this game goes over. And then finally, I will take Notre Dame plus 1.5 at home against Cincinnati.
Wow.
Cincinnati's numbers against top 10 teams is just absolutely dreadful. I will take the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. My parents were there yesterday, Yeah, they're making a little cross country trip on their way to here over the weekend.
Joe, I got a little stat that'll help one of your bets.
Which
read Wisconsin's given up less than 100 rushing yards all year, and Michigan runs the ball 70% of the time.
Yeah,
that should help your under.
I was looking at Big Ten totals this season, and I think there's one team that's above 75%. I'm bringing it up right now just so I can have it. But everybody else is just under in the Big Ten. It's disgusting how bad offense is in that conference. Indiana's 3-1 in overs. Nobody else is above 500, and it's just disgusting. Neither team. Michigan's 1-3 in overs this year, and Wisconsin's 1-2. So
it's beautiful if you bet unders.
It is. It'll be a fantastic, boring watch in that 11 o'clock window.
What was the number?
43.5. 43.5.
I'm just kind of surprised. I thought it'd be in the 30s, actually.
Joe has chosen not to respond to the observation.
Proud of you, Joe.
I'm agreeing with the under. I thought it would be in the 30s, 37, 38.
It was an embargo on the communication. All right. Before I go to my picks, if you are going to buy a home with Ryan Kelly, or you are looking right now for a car, for example, make sure your insurance provider is the great James Carlton, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. He is my insurance provider. He is located at State Farm in Webster Grove, and he has an incredible staff, keeps growing the staff because he wants people to be able to call anytime, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and talk to a real-life person. You're talking about your home, life, auto, whatever is too important to make sure that it goes uninsured. James Carlton takes care of it. He wants the customer service to stand out, and it does. That's why I switched 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. G-Unit mentioned Seth Goldcamp, Design Air Heating and Cooling, the official HVAC provider of this podcast and the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Unfortunately, probably this time next month, it will be extremely cold, as it tends to get when the Cardinals are playing in the World Series. You can picture that freezing jackets, stocking hats, the whole thing. Well, that's only a month away. So if your furnace is not working or you're concerned it may not, make sure you get it checked with DesignAirService.com. Design Air Heating and Cooling, Seth Goldcamp, the official HVAC provider of the Tim McKernan Show podcast and the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Action Jackson, before I go to my picks, tell the people about Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies, 314-889-0503, or go online at evergreenstl.com. Talk with the great Mark Hanna.
Well, Mark is simply the best. He provides personal plans for every single person he works with, because every person's in a different stage of their life. You might be like me. You might be just getting your first real job and started making some money, and you need something to plan for the future. And Mark is the best at helping people like that. But he's also the best at helping people at any stage of their life, and he will cater each and every plan differently for everybody. So if you're thinking, I don't need to worry about financial planning for the long term, I'll figure that out maybe in my 30s or 40s, don't do that. No. Don't do that. Instead, call Mark Hanna. He'll get you set up right. He'll take care of you. He'll give you the plan that's best for you, and he'll talk you through it because he loves talking to people, because he is the best. So if you don't have anybody and you're planning on just figuring it out by the seat of your pants, don't do it. Call Mark Hanna. And if you do already have somebody, I suggest making the switch, because Mark Hanna is that good.
There he is. Action Jackson talking about his guy, Mark Hanna. Evergreen Wealth Strategies, 314-889-0503, or go online at evergreenstl.com. I guess I go first because G-Unit and I both went 3-3. Is that correct? And I have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
All right. God bless. All right, here we go. I got to go into the phone. We will start off with the Rams and Cardinals over 54.5. Rams and Cardinals over 54.5. Auburn, LSU over 55.5. Auburn, LSU over 55.5. Ole Miss, Alabama under 81. Under 81. You see how much I locked in because I said, hey, is that number 81? And then I find out that I'm taking the under.
That's such an outrageous number.
And let's see. Virginia +6. Virginia +6. Have I given you 5 picks, Action Jackson?
No, it's only 4.
4. I thought it was 4.
Arkansas +18.5.
What was the last one?
The Razorbacks +18.5. Razorbacks plus 18.5.
Now, is this allowed? Because I only use DraftKings I didn't go to Schmores to get mine. But you said Cardinal 54.5. Can I move mine down to 44.5 instead of 45?
Whatever the best line is on the two sites is what we get.
Correct. I'm just asking because I only used DraftKings, but obviously used one that gave you 54.5. I had 55.
Well, it could have gone down. It could have gone down since you looked.
At the time of us making the picks, that's the
Hey,
number.
we'll give you 54.5, pal.
There you go. Thanks.
No, I'll keep it at 45 if that's the rule. Just let me know.
You're good.
There it is. You have been approved by the board of approval. G Unit, let's take a look at the NFC South.
Yeah, I actually do have a few NFC South picks. Hey, let me confirm the rules though. Are we minus 120 is our that's the max?
Well, it ultimately depends on,
because here's what I'd like to let me tell you
some people play a little bit faster and looser with the rules.
Well, let me tell you what I'd like to do. If I've got a game,
children.
Well, right after the show last week, I texted you. Scotty Scheffler play was at minus 125. You're saying that it happened right then at that point. We let it go. Who gives a shit? But the actual rules are minus 120.
Well, when I played the game an hour before, it was 120. So you went in after the show was over. It could have went in after the show was over. You don't know. You didn't do it during the show. If you'd have told me during the show, Iggy, it's at 125, I'd have said, okay.
Let's give Iggy the benefit of the doubt on this one. Let's trust
you checked the lines during the show. So
no, it's impossible for me to check 15 different lines between NFL and college while you're running them off. So
you've corrected quite a few people on here with their lines, so you must be looking at them.
Because it's games that I'm fucking playing.
No, they're not.
You're right.
Anyway,
you're right. Everybody else is wrong.
I just like to call attention to Jackson's use of the graphics as he welcomed back Ella Reese to the adult film industry. Thank you very much. There it is.
I thought it would be nice.
I don't take this that seriously, so I'm not going to go try to. Oh, it's 125. I'm going to say 120. I don't do that.
I believe you. Let's move on.
I do too. Yeah. Why would he cheat? That'd be stupid.
I don't.
All right.
Okay.
Gee,
all right.
So the Saints are the new Panthers. The Saints are the new Panthers.
The Saints are the new Panthers. Well, there is something to be said about the Panthers this week. They are playing the Cowboys, and I'm going to take the Cowboys -4. Our buddy McCaffrey is out for several weeks, and a rookie named Chuba Hubbard is starting.
He went to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I know who the fuck he is. What I'm saying is that he's not as good as McCaffrey. And Carolina started the season 3-0, but they haven't played anybody. I mean, the first part of their season is really, really weak. They played the Jets at home, barely beat them. Then they played the Saints on that big down game that the Saints had after they won that huge game, the weather game, and then they played the Texans. So 3-0, their best players injured. I think the Cowboys are going to blow them out. Cowboys -4. Next game, Monday Night Football, Chargers -3 at home against the Raiders. I think the Raiders have just gotten pretty lucky to have this 3-0 record. It's really a bad spot for both teams, maybe even more so the Chargers after that huge win with Kansas City. But I just think they're a better team. And so if they're at home, they shouldn't be getting the 2 or 3 points that most home teams get because they don't even have a home team advantage. But I think that they're probably a touchdown better than the Raiders on a neutral field. So I'm going with the Chargers. These next two games are kind of a pair. It's Tampa Bay at the Patriots +7. Love the Patriots. And then the next one, the Rams versus the Cardinals. I love the Cardinals at +4.5. So I love those two dogs because you obviously saw Tampa Bay and the Rams play this past weekend, and it was just this love fest of how good they are. They're the cream of the crop in the NFC. This is a preview of the NFC Championship game. So I think both lines are inflated based on a lot of people watching that game last week. And then also in this other game, in the New England game, you have the much anticipated return of Tom Brady, and I think Belichick has really, really dialed in on this game, and I think they're gonna. I would put a little taste on the money line for the Patriots too at +240, but I'll take the touchdown. I think both dogs in those games are going to cover. Next game, Pittsburgh +6.5. at Green Bay. This is the one I was wondering about. I wanted to buy a half point to bring it to plus or to minus 125 so I could get the full touchdown, but I guess that would be cheating under the current structure we have. By the way, those last two games I just said, more than 90% of the public is on both of the favorites in those games. So the everyone is loving the Rams and the Bucks. To me, it's a pretty clear opposite bet there. So I just like Big Ben in this game. Pittsburgh, I like Big Ben to have one last hurrah, and it's almost a must-win for them at this point, this early in the game. Good letdown spot for Green Bay. How many is that?
That's 5.
Hey, so can I roll out? Can I roll into my sixth pick here?
Yeah.
Tim, I think we talked about this before you got in. I'm going to the Cardinals game, and I got to get the hell out of here.
Oh, God bless.
So I'm going to go with. Did I say the Chiefs -7 yet at Philadelphia?
No.
Nope.
Why do I feel like we're like watching like some kind of on Golden Pond situation with G Unit?
I'm going with the Chiefs -7. I'm a little worried about Chubbs going to the hospital this past weekend, but I think it's going to be a win it for Chubbs situation. And we saw that Philadelphia is just terrible. I mean, they're a bad team, and Kansas City is finally in a position where their backs are kind of up against the wall with their division doing so well, and they're 1-2. So I think they're going to blow them out maybe by 30 or 40 points.
There it is. G Unit, great to hear from you. Enjoy the Redbirds this evening, sir.
All right, hey, I'm going to stay on and listen to you guys. I'm probably just not going to say anything because of the,
Okay. All right.
it's just such a quality show. I can't.
No, it really
can't
is.
miss a minute of it.
Excellent broadcasting. Action Jackson, I believe you are our final first 5 picks player, sir.
Yeah. I'm going to take my first pick. I'm going to take Oregon -8 going into Stanford. I like Oregon. I like their defense. I think they can crush them. Next, I'm going to take this might be the 2 worst teams in college football playing each other. UConn, Vanderbilt, night game, under 52 points.
Boy, what a mess those are. What's the number on that? I assume Vanderbilt's favorite.
Vanderbilt's favorite like 14.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that the over-under or the number of people that are going to show up?
Oh, is that game in Nashville?
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, Nashville hosting a night game with UConn and Vandy. I got the under.
God.
I got the under of 52.
Hopefully that's homecoming.
Yeah. Next, I got Purdue -2.5. No analysis. I just got Purdue -2.5.
Right,
Shout out Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah.
I want to see Garrett roll across the bottom like "Welcome back, Ella Reese."
My fourth pick is the Washington football team -1.5 going down to Atlanta. This is a must-win for them if they want to even have a chance at the gettable NFC East. The Falcons had to barely squeak one out against the Giants, so I like the Washington football team -1.5 points. My final pick before the lock is the Seahawks Niners over 51.5 in Santa Clara. Seahawks defense stinks. Niners sometimes put up points, sometimes they don't, but I like it over 51.5.
Action Jackson's picks have been submitted. Time for our locks of the week. Iggy, what do you got going on?
Quick little 3-team teaser, 10-point teaser. Tampa Bay +3 versus New England. Fresno State -1 versus Hawaii. And Texas and TCU over 55.5.
All right, there it is. Iggy's lock is in. Gangster repeat.
I'm going to take the Beavers, Oregon State, -2.5 in Corvallis versus Washington. Oregon State has a bunch of sneaky good athletes. They're really fun to watch. Oregon State, -2.5 at home versus Washington.
All right. Action on me.
No.
Am I correct or is it not on me? I apologize.
No, it's me.
Oh,
I'm going to go over, first half over 41.5 with the number 1 and number 4 scoring offenses in the country over Bama and Ole Miss first half 41.5.
Interesting. I kind of like that play, and yet still like my under of 81.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Bama first half overhit for me last week, and they're playing against an offense that can really score this week. So I feel quite confident.
All right. I am going with the under on Indiana, Penn State. The number I have is from DraftKings at 53.5. Indiana, Penn State, under 53.5. Action Jackson.
I'm going to stick with these 2-game money line parlays that have gone back to back for me. I'm going to take the Titans and the Cowboys money line parlay.
That's minus 120, I guess. That's a deal.
Yeah, it's actually plus money last time I checked. So,
wow. All right. Action Jackson is in. All the picks have been submitted. G-Unit had to bolt a little earlier. Thank you to Tullamore Dew for sponsoring the magic that is the Pick Six podcast. Thank you to Ryan Kelly, the homeloanexpert.com, James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies, Seth Goldcamp, Design Air Heating and Cooling, and, of course, Munganess, the official automotive provider of the Tim McKernan Show. Jamie Burkhardt and Clayton Patterson will take care of you. If you're looking for a 2021 vehicle, you get $1,000 off just by telling them you listen to the podcast. And if you're looking for a pre-owned car, they have more than 300 pre-owned cars. You can look at them right now at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. That's going to do it, boys. What a wonderful broadcast it was. Thank you to Tullamore Dew. Thank you to Action Jackson, producer Joe, G-Unit, Gangster Repeat, and Kenneth Iggy Strode for all of the sponsors and co-hosts of the presentation. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been the Pick Six Podcast on the Inside STL Podcast Network, presented by Tullamore Dew.